Hey there and welcome to another video. My name is Hugh, and in this video I'm going to attempt to build a fast and privacy-focused trading laptop for less than $100. That's right, less than $100. You'll also learn why you might want to do this even if you have more than $100 to spend on a laptop because of this one scary thing that Microsoft is rolling out with their new computers. All right, let's get into it. So what prompted me to do this challenge and to build a new backup laptop was this announcement by Microsoft. So they're going to be rolling out this new feature called Recall. And as you can see here, what Recall does is it takes snapshots of your screen every 5 seconds. Yeah, that's pretty creepy. So that means they're going to be taking snapshots of your bank accounts, your trading accounts, your email, everything. Now, Microsoft says that this is going to be stored on a secure chip on the PC and it's never going to leave the PC. But seriously, when have you ever been able to trust the security of Microsoft Windows? Now, this feature will be only available on the newer Copilot Plus PCs, and those haven't really rolled out yet, but it's definitely coming, so you have to be aware of it. On top of that, if you didn't know it already, Windows 10 and 11 logs all the keystrokes that you put into your keyboard. And this information gets sent to the Windows servers, and certain Microsoft employees have access to this information. So they can see your password, they can see your account numbers, they can see your emails. So if you're already using Windows 10 or 11, I would highly recommend reading this blog post. I'll link to it below, and that will allow you to turn off this feature in Windows 10 and 11. But again, do you know that it's really turned off, or is it working in the background without you knowing it? So because of all this craziness at Microsoft, that prompted me to look into an alternative. Now, the first alternative is obviously to use a Mac, and I use a M3 14-inch MacBook Pro, and I think this is the best laptop on the market right now. But obviously, this is not a budget solution. That's why I wanted to try and build a super budget solution with the other alternative, which is Linux. Now, in all honesty, I don't know if I can build a really solid laptop for less than $100. It's going to be a stretch for sure. If you're willing to spend about $300, then yeah, you can get a pretty solid used laptop for that amount of money. But I wanted a challenge and I wanted to see how low I could go, so I'm going to be setting $100 as my limit. On top of that, I don't even know if I can run all of my trading programs on Linux. Theoretically, TradingView and MetaTrader 5 should both run on Linux, but I don't really know until I actually do it. So join me on this experiment to build a $100 trading laptop, and we'll see how it goes. The first step is going to be choosing a target laptop. Back when I used to use Windows as my primary operating system, I always bought Dell computers. I worked on a ton of computers when I was younger, and the HPs and the Lenovo's, they always broke, but Dell was always reliable. So for this challenge, I'm going to be looking for a Dell laptop. Now you're probably thinking, well, there's a ton of Dell laptops out there. Which one is the best one? And you're right. So what I decided to do was go to their Wikipedia page and take a look at the Latitude series of Dell laptops, and that'll be good enough for what I'm looking for. So as I scroll through the model numbers, obviously the 2024, 23, 22 are probably going to be too expensive. I won't be able to get that for under $100. So I scrolled down and looked at the 2018s and 2017s. I think that the 2017s are probably going to be the best value. At least I'm getting a 7th generation Core i5 or i7. Otherwise, if I go down to here, I mean, these might be okay too, but I think this represents a sweet spot. So the XX80 models. And I was looking at some of the pricing, and I think that the 7280 is nice because it has a smaller screen, which means it's more portable. It's lighter, but it still has a 7th generation Core i3, 5, or 7. So that's what I'm going to be targeting. Now let's head over to eBay to figure out how to get this at a really low price. Okay, so I put in Dell 7280 into the search bar, and this is what it came up with. Now I want to have at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, Core i7 or i5, and a 256 gig SSD at the minimum. Now the harder one to get is the 16 gigs of RAM, and if I have to buy that on my own, that will be more expensive. So I'm going to target that one and just kind of leave the SSD. So as you can see, I have a bunch of auctions. I want to look at the buy it nows first because that's going to be the easiest way to get this done. So I'm going to go to buy it now. And if I can get something right now that's less than $100 and I don't have to fix too much, then that'll be great. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got here. 256, broken trackpad. Trackpad could get expensive, plus I probably have to buy a power supply. Same thing here, broken trackpad. This looks like it comes with a mouse, but no power supply, so that could get expensive again. This might be okay, 77. No, cracked screen, no battery. Okay, so that's going to be no hard drive, no caddy. Okay, so that's going to be some cost there if I want to fix that one up. And then I get down to here. 256, I5, that's going to be 70, 82 plus tax. That'll probably put me over $100. So this is kind of where I have to draw the line in terms of the buy it nows. So no good options right now. I'm going to keep an eye on this to see if I can get something. But let's flip over to the auctions and take a look at that. Okay, so good news. I have a bunch of 99-cent starting auctions with the specs that I'm looking for. So that's fantastic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up some snipes. So if you don't know what a snipe is, it's basically a website that you sign up for. You link it to your eBay account and they will submit the next highest bid for an auction that you're watching up to your maximum bid amount. You can sign up for an account on a sniping website like Auction Stealer. I've been using Auction Stealer since 2000, I think 7 or 8, something like that. And it's been fantastic. I've never paid for the account. I've always used the free one. And I have no affiliation with them. They're not sponsoring this or anything. I just think it's a great product. So with the free account, you can have up to 4 snipes open at the same time, and you can win up to 4 auctions per month for free, which is fantastic. I usually only bid on auctions maybe 3-4 times a year. So this is perfect for me. I just use this. So to get started with this, all you do is you go over to the auction that you want to snipe. Let's see, I think that this one would be a good one here. Yeah, this one, because it has 9/7, 16 gigs of RAM, and 256 SSD. Perfect. Let's double check this and see if there are any other major problems. It's no AC adapter, so I'd have to buy an AC adapter. And that should be good to go, actually. I just would need an AC adapter, which is not bad. So maybe I would want to pay, I don't know, $50, see if I can get this for $50 or $60. So the way you do this is go down to the top of the listing here where it says eBay item number. And then I'm going to just copy this item number. I'm going to go over to Auction Stealer. I'm going to put that here, add, and then it's going to give me the title to double check that I'm sniping the right one. As you can see, it's going to enter the next highest bid about 7 seconds before the auction ends, which is perfect. And then I'm going to set a max bid here. Let's say I want to do like 61.33 or something odd like that, right? And then a good feature of this is that you can use a bid group. So what a bid group is you can have a bunch of snipes open at the same time. If you win one of those snipes, then it will cancel out the rest of the snipes and you won't bid on those other auctions. And that will prevent you from buying 4 laptops at the same time. So I'm going to call this one Dell 7280, hit enter. Okay, and that's added. So as you can see, this is one that's been added. And if I want to add another one, I could just repeat the process. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be setting up these snipes, looking for good deals. And I'm also going to be monitoring the buy it nows to see if I can pick something up right away. And let's see what I get. All right, so I've put in a few snipes. I made a couple of offers on some buy it nows, which I got rejected. But I did get this one. So this is pretty nice. This is a 16 gigabyte i5 256 SSD, and I got it for $42. My maximum bid was $44.44, and there were 20 people who bid on this one. So this is a pretty good price. Now let's hop over to the actual listing and see how much I'm going to pay. Okay, so I want it for $42, but there's a 2021 or 2012 shipping costs, so it's going to cost $62.12 plus tax, which should get me in under the $100 limit because I do have to buy a power supply for this, and the battery life has not been, it comes with a battery, but the battery life has not been verified, so I might also have to buy a battery. So we'll see how much this is going to end up costing, but otherwise this looks like a great win, and the next part of this video is going to show when the box actually arrives. All right, so in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the computer to come, I have found this OEM Dell charger that goes with the 7280. So I'm going to go ahead and order this also, which is going to add another $12 to the cost of the computer. All right, so now it's Thursday. I ordered this on Sunday. The box is here. So let's take a look at what this laptop looks like. All right, here we go. Open this box up. All right, nicely packed here. Ooh, that's pretty small. I like it. Okay, and there we go. Some scratches on the top, but otherwise in good shape. It has a Ethernet port here. It has a USB-A. It has a micro SD card, and it actually has a slot for a
SIM card. So if you wanted to use this as a internet device, you could put your SIM card in there, and that's really handy. Headphone jack. On this side, full-size HDMI, USB-C, USB-A, and the power adapter. The good thing about this is that you can power the laptop with both the power adapter and USB-C. So that's really nice. Otherwise, very small, lightweight. I really like it. Now let's take a look at the inside. Okay, that looks like it's in really good shape. I mean, the inside is almost brand new. So let's get this on the table and start working on it. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is plug it in. So I got my $12 adapter off of eBay, and I'm going to plug this computer in and see if it actually runs. All right, so now I'm going to start it up and see if I can get into the BIOS. I think it's F2 on a Dell. So let's hit F2. Okay, so we're into the BIOS. It looks like the keypad is lining up, so that looks great. It looks like a really good deal for $65. Now it's time to install the operating system on this.
All right, so the first thing that I want to figure out is what flavor of Linux am I going to be putting on this laptop? So I did a little bit of research, watched some YouTube videos, and I've settled on Linux Mint. It looks like one of the best options out there, and it's probably one of the most stable. I just want something that's stable. I don't need to geek out about customizing a whole bunch of stuff, which other flavors of Linux are better for. So I'm going to go ahead and create a bootable drive that I'm going to stick into this laptop, and then I'm going to load Linux Mint onto this laptop. The first step is going to be to download the Linux Mint file and then put that on a external drive. So to do this, you can use Balena Etcher. This is a free program, so I'm going to select the Linux Mint ISO here. I'm going to select my target drive, which is my external SanDisk, and then I'm going to flash it, and it's going to ask for my password. And depending on how fast your computer is, this could take a few minutes. Now it's going to validate, and once that's done, I'm going to eject this drive and put it into the new laptop. All right, so installing this on the laptop is really easy. All I do is stick in the USB stick, turn it on, and the computer is going to recognize the USB stick as bootable, and it'll start the installation process. So as you can see, it's booting up here, and then it's going to jump right into the installation screen. I'm going to select OEM install, and that's going to start the installation process. And I'm going to speed this up here so you don't have to sit through the whole thing. All right, so there it is on the setup screen. Now I'm going to go through the setups to install this. So everything's installed. Now the first thing I'm going to do is launch MetaTrader, the Linux version of MetaTrader. It's not really a Linux version, but it's installed on Wine. And I tried this on a Mac and it didn't work that well. But I'm actually impressed with how well it works on Linux. As you can see, it booted up quickly. I've got my custom indicators in there, so you can add your own EAs and your own indicators. Now here's a quick trick if you're having trouble adding your EAs or indicators. Open the data folder in MetaTrader and then navigate over to the experts or the indicator folder, and then take the file that you want to drop in there. And you need to right click on the file, copy and paste. So I'm going to delete the previous one out of here just to show you how this works. And if I try to click and drag it, it won't work. As you can see, I'm going to try it a couple times. So what I need to do here is right click, copy, then head over to the MetaTrader folder, then paste, and the file will be in there. Now initially it'll say 0 kilobytes for the size, but that's okay. All you have to do is close this window down and then reopen it, and it'll show you the size of the file and that the file is there. Now this is all great, but what happens if you have a program, a Windows program that you want to use on Linux that has not been ported to Wine? Well, what you can use is this thing called QEMU, and this is a free virtualization software. And I was a little bit skeptical in the beginning of using this because it is free, but I installed Windows 10 on it and it actually works really well. So here it is booting up. So it is a little slow to start, but once it gets going, it's actually really quick. Okay, so now we're into Windows, and as you can see, this is a regular Windows screen. I had to install some extra drivers with this, but once I got it working, it's actually really nice and pretty responsive. Now keep in mind that I'm running a screen recording program in the background on this laptop, so it's going to be slowed down a little bit, but not by much. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to install a demo version of Naked Markets. So I'll show you how Naked Markets can be used on this computer. even though I have Linux as my primary operating system. So there we go. The demo version of Naked Markets is in this computer. Now I'm going to launch the program, and you can see how quickly it starts up. Oh, this silly Windows thing. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, so there's Naked Markets, and I'm just going to start a new backtest so you can see how well this works. I'm just going to go next. Whoops. Okay, next. And there you go. And that's just about as quick as if I used a Windows computer, maybe even quicker. And this is in TradingView mode. So I'm going to just play the 1 hour chart. And as you can see, it works well. And you can use this virtualized Windows 10 to install any Windows program you want. Now you're probably wondering, don't I have to pay for Windows? Well, actually not. I learned this recently. You can download Windows 10 and I think also Windows 11 for free. So this is how you download Windows 10. You'll just get the ISO file, and then you can take that ISO file, put it onto your laptop, and that will allow you to install Windows 10 on the virtual machine. Now the only downside with this is that there are going to be certain features that you can't customize with the free version of Windows 10. You're going to have to activate it to be able to use these type of things, like changing the desktop picture. But these are really minor things, and all of the other functions do appear to work with Windows 10 even though it's not activated. Before I move on to showing you more trading software, let's talk about battery life. Now I got pretty lucky with this battery. When this was brand new, Dell estimated that you would get about 10 hours. So realistically, you would get 6 to 8 hours in the real world. And with a used laptop, you never know what you're going to get. But I estimate that I'm going to get about 3 hours on this current battery, even though it says 7 here. Now, if I was going to use this as my primary desktop computer and it would always be plugged in, then that's not a big deal. The battery is not an issue. But if I was going to actually carry this around, I would probably want to replace the battery so I get more than 3 hours of battery life. Okay, so what if you feel more comfortable installing MetaTrader on Windows? Well, I don't blame you, because Wine can be a little unstable sometimes because it's a patch to emulate Windows. So it's actually better to put MetaTrader on Windows, and that way you will have the maximum compatibility. So here I am installing MetaTrader on the Windows installed on Linux. So as you can see, the install process is going pretty quickly, and it's almost done as I speak. And I'll show you how it starts up, how it looks, and get it running. So it's almost there. And this is actually really quick. I mean, it's probably in line with what you would get on a Windows computer. So I'm pretty happy with how this is performing here. Now it's starting up. And as you can see, I can just simply drag the chart around and set things up the way I like it. And then I can start installing custom indicators, or EAs, if I have any of those. And now it's just a plain old Windows MetaTrader install. So very happy with that, and that will work well if you don't want to install it directly on Linux and you prefer to put it on Windows itself. And this goes for any other Windows program. You can put it on this installation of Windows and it'll work fine. Now there's only one more thing to test out here, and that is TradingView. And I'm sure TradingView is going to work pretty well. So I'm launching this on Linux, and as you can see, I can move the chart around. It's pretty easy, very smooth and fluid. I can switch symbols, and that happens very quickly. And I expected as much, because TradingView is a fantastic platform for charting, and it works really well in a browser on basically any operating system. So I have fulfilled the ability to put MetaTrader on this Linux laptop both ways, both with an emulator like Wine and also with a virtual machine and installing Windows 10. And now I can use TradingView in a browser. So that fulfills what I'm looking for out of this computer. Now let's take a look at how much all of this costed, and I'll give you a summary of this project, whether I liked it or not. The laptop itself was $6608 in total, and that was for a Dell 7280 laptop. Now I have two goals with this video. Number one, I wanted to show that you don't need a fancy laptop to start trading. Spend that money or add that money to your trading account, right? Or go pay for some education. You don't have to buy a $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 laptop in order to trade. All you need is something simple like this, and that will get you started. Number two, buying used computers like this keeps them out of landfills. So a lot of companies, big corporations, they lease these Dell computers for a certain amount of time, maybe 2 or 3 years, and then they get rid of them, and then they they lease a whole new lot. These vendors on eBay buy them up cheap and then they resell them, which gives them a longer shelf life and keeps them out of the landfills. So the next time you're looking for a computer, I would highly consider looking for something used instead of buying the top of the line newest thing, because there really is a lot of life in them and they can still be very usable and you will save a lot of money. Okay, getting back to the costs. Now the AC adapter cost $11.82. So the total cost for this project was $77.90. That's crazy. Getting a fully working trading computer for $77.90 out the door. Now there is a little caveat here, obviously. I probably would want to put a new battery into this, which will cost about $25 to $50 depending on which one I buy. So the total cost here would probably be a little bit over $100 if I wanted to carry this laptop around. But if I just want to use this at my desk, I got another trading computer for $77.90. Okay, here are my final thoughts on this project. I think it was a huge success. I actually really like this laptop. I considered keeping it, like seriously considered keeping it, because it is so small. It is very nicely built. I mean, it does pick up fingerprints kind of easily, but aside from that, it's really well built. The only downside of this is that even if I did buy a new battery, the battery life wouldn't be fantastic. I'm used to this MacBook Pro here, which, you know, I can sit at the coffee shop all day and it barely eats like 20% of the battery. The battery is a priority for me, probably even more so than processing speed. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sell this on eBay, and then I'm going to get something that's a little bit bigger. I'm probably going to get a 14-inch Latitude and put a brand new battery in that one. And that project will obviously cost more than $100, but it won't be much more. I'm thinking maybe 200 or so. Now, I was very surprised at how well the Linux software worked. I used to use Ubuntu Linux, and that got really slow on the computers I put it on. So I was kind of like, I don't know if Linux works or not. But Linux Mint is actually really snappy, really responsive. And then finding that QEMU software on which I can run Windows was a nice find too. Totally free. Windows is now free, basically. So you don't have to pay anything to put your Windows programs on Linux. And if you're like me, there's only like 1 or 2 Windows programs that I need. And it's so annoying that I can't get it on Mac or I can't get it on Linux. So this is a nice in-between, and that will help keep your data off of the Microsoft servers. All right, so if you want to do this yourself, I have links in the description below to all of the resources that I mentioned in this video, and that will help you find the ideal laptop for you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see me build other computers for trading, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Leave a comment. Let me know what kind of computer you built for your trading. I know one guy commented on one video and he said he's been using a Windows 7 laptop that's 10 years old and it still works fine. So you don't have to get the newest stuff. Remember that. And if you want to get more videos like this, subscribe, hit the bell. Thanks for watching.